I like that because I heard this saying many years ago. I say it all the time, but especially when people start quoting the number of years at which they've been doing something. And a lot of times I was like, hey, I've been doing this 20 years. And most people, truthfully, have done like 1 year of experience, 1 year of work repeated 20 times. So if you're not actually learning anything new and you're not actually growing for all the subsequent years, then 1 year is as good as 20 for most people. And something I think about is like, I'm typically trying to identify the people who actually are learning something new over the course of 20 or, in Paul's case, 32 years or whatever it is. Because if you're constantly thinking about what to do next and going out and tackling that and then teaching and teaching and teaching and learning and learning and learning, well, then you're actually learning over the course of 32 years. There's actually 32 years worth of knowledge. But if all you've got is 1 year of knowledge repeated 32 times, that's not really helpful.
No, and it's not exciting. And I will tell you,
Yeah.
there is never a dull day at MCAP, because if I was to describe MCAP as a company, I would say we're a bunch of people that are likely should have been business for self who have come together under a brand. There's not a day that goes by that somebody at the executive level will refer to their KPIs or their objectives. Like, we know them, they're tattooed on us, and it simply is hashtag winning. Like, it is a desire we all have whenever we're meeting. It's how can we be better? How can we be bigger? It is a room of entrepreneurial thinkers. It is not a room of people waiting to get a list of tasks to achieve.
Mm-hmm.
Paul Bruce, I think it was a couple of years ago, he's laughing at me. I said I was so stressed out, I had so much on my plate, and he started laughing. And he goes, "Well, you don't have me to blame. I haven't actively been your boss since the day you started. You've been your boss. So if you're overloaded, then you're the boss here, not me." He was right. I mean, at the end of the day, Paul doesn't call me and say, "What have you achieved?" I phone Paul and tell him what I'm going to do to change the landscape of the mortgage environment in Canada. That is the way the game is played at MCAP.
That's an awesome way to think about it. I often think about that as it relates back to my calendar. Sometimes I get like really busy. I'm sure like you do or others do. And I'll have to remind myself, I literally control it. Like I don't
100%.
have anybody telling me like what to do every minute of my day
No,
or telling me when I can like take a lunch or not take a
no.
lunch. And hold on, let's take stock here. Where can I spend my time that make things most impactful so that we can go out and we can achieve our goals and I can achieve my personal goals as we go along? Like something as simple as baking meditation into my day, something I did a few years
Yeah.
ago that, felt like a big deal for me at the time. But I knew that there was this period of the day where I would, by 12:30, 1 o'clock, I would need a reset. But instead of actually resetting, I would barrel through and I would just get more miserable and more agitated as the day went on. And I'm like, why? Who's telling me to do this? Like, no one is telling me that I can't take 30 minutes in the middle of the day to
No.
stop, pause, reset, and then have a great afternoon after the fact. I took control.
Yeah, and I think many of my family members will tell you I'm a control freak. What I am is I'm a choice freak. I know this is all my choice. I know that
Mm-hmm.
every decision I make in the day is for me to make. No one is making me show up. No one is making me do anything. And I think when you come back to that place of power, you will own your day to day. And a couple of things that happened a few years ago is I really dove in, as you're talking about meditation, I really dove into health and wellness. I mean, I would start an occasional national meeting with, "How many glasses of water have you drank today?" It's your choice. "How many of you have had your greens today?" That's your choice. "How many of you got 8 hours sleep last night?" That's your choice. "How many of you are exercising 4 times a week?" That's your choice. This is an era where people often feel their life just takes off and they have no choice. There's so much choice in the day. And especially if you are in this industry has tons of opportunity for people who want it. There's tons of way to communicate today through the web and social media if you want to. So there is never anyone holding us hostage. And the minute you start to understand how much power you have, you won't believe what you would choose to do with your day. And it is your choice.